I just released my novel, Alex Was Here, and I wanted to share with you the method I used to get this novel out there because it was different than anything I'd ever done before and it really worked. So I hope that if you're interested in writing or if you're interested in creating a novel, that this might be useful for you. I wrote this in April, and for me, April is a very busy time, and it's not a time that I usually have to sit down and really write. So I came up with the idea of dictating a novel, and it worked. So I'm going to share with you how I did it, and then some tips on how to kind of make this process work a little bit better because there are many variables here. So I started by dictating on the phone. Sometimes I'll actually use this mic here when I'm at home, but most of the dictation actually happened in the car as I was driving to and from work. And I used an iOS app called Ferrite. And Ferrite's really good, but you can use pretty much anything that will record and give you WAV files or MP3 files or whatever. The nice thing about Ferrite is that you can record and then you can stop recording and you can continue at later on the same file. So you're not uploading many, many files. And I thought that was pretty useful. So what I would do during the day is I would just pop on Ferrite, record, and at the end of the day, I would upload it to my Google Drive. Now, this is the part that's a little tricky, but I will explain to you what I did, and you're going to have to basically figure it out on your own. But I used a transcription software called Whisper. Now, Whisper is free. It's it's an OpenAI program that you run on your own computer. You use the command prompt of Windows, and it's pretty good at cleaning up um, these raw files because you're going to find that when you're recording, when you're dictating, there's lots of pauses, there's lots of there are sentences that just don't really make a lot of sense, and it does a pretty good job of catching the gist of things and getting it down pretty faithfully. So I used ChatGPT actually to figure out how to kind of configure Whisper the way that worked best for me, and I will show you my Whisper screen. So this is what I have. I have it watching my Google Drive folder, and when I drag a file onto there, onto that folder, it should see it and start transcribing. Whisper uses your GPU or your CPU depending on how you have it set up. So it'll go fast or slow depending on how fast your computer is. I had it originally on my CPU and it took quite a while. But once I moved it over to my GPU, it's going as fast as you're seeing it go. You'll have to basically play around with it. There's a little bit of coding involved, but I know nothing about coding. And with the help of ChatGPT, I was able to get something set up um, where it would watch the folder, scan the file, delete the file after it's done, and put it onto a text document. Another thing you'll have to consider is these timestamps. The timestamps are they need to be removed in your final uh, text document, which is doable. But notice here, I mean, if I just scroll to the top, like within the first 5 minutes, I have like maybe 100 words, if that. So, you talk slowly. You don't have to know everything you're going to say the instant you're going to say it. You can stop, you can think. There are probably moments where there are 30 seconds to a minute between different things that I'm speaking. So it's not a very high pressure situation. Whisper is pretty good at getting this mostly figured out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my transcript. So I have it coming through on, let me try to pull this into the window here. I have it coming through on a Word document, not a Word document, sorry, a Notepad document here. And I just have it appended to the bottom. So here's the bottom, the very bottom. This is the most recent thing that I uploaded. You'll notice, like, for instance, here, Whisper, for whatever reason, copied this 3 times. So there are going to be issues, but for the most part, it catches what you say. You copy it, and now what I used for formatting, and this was sort of critical for me to kind of, because you can't, like, I mean, you could, right? You could text that, you could just paste this into your writing software, Word document, whatever, and make all the changes, but I didn't have time for that. So I pulled up ChatGPT. And so this is not the one that I use. I have a separate chat just for my cleaning up formatting, but this is a good start for you. If this is something that you're interested in doing, just copy this prompt here. You explain what you're doing. You explain what you want it to do. You want it to remove the issues that Whisper brings in. You want it formatted with your quotations, your dialogue tags, punctuation, and you want it to remove any weird things that you may have said that you didn't mean to say. I found that it likes to trim more, so you want to sort of tell it not to do that. Of course, if you want it to smooth it out and do more, you can. I personally, I don't like the feeling of my work being an AI generated thing, so I made it do very little. And then for me, this is just a personal preference. Don't ask questions at the end. And I have my ChatGPT as Greek words to the chats, just so I can kind of learn some Greek words. I don't want it to do that right now, so I hope it doesn't. So I'll send the prompt over, and then I will copy in the text that we just generated, and we will get it to do the thing. I found there was some differences between ChatGPT 5 and 4. In fact, I actually thought that that 4 did a somewhat better job, but I'm trying to work with 5 now, for what it's worth. So now you have all your quotes are where they belong, dialogue tags. Everything looks pretty good. So what I'd do here is I would just copy this into my main document. I use Atticus, but you can use whatever you want. And it will need edits and stuff, but it comes out in pretty good shape. And another thing I noticed about ChatGPT 5 is they really calm down on the M dashes. There's still a couple, but I mean, when I did my last one, I took out like 500 M dashes. So yeah, this looks pretty good, I guess. So it's a really simple process. It's very doable, and you'll find your word count will grow very significantly over a short period of time. You'll find that once you kind of get the hang of it, and you have a sense of what you're going to say, what's coming next, this is a very quick process. For me, this book, it's a short book. It looks thicker than it is because of the way it's formatted. See, there's not a lot of. This is 52,000 words, and it took me a month. The first draft was done within a month, and it took a couple months to edit and to get everything where I wanted it to be. But I mean, you can't beat that, especially at a time where you're doing other things. For me, it was just 5 minutes at the end of the day. Once I got Whisper set up and everything, 5 minutes at the end of the day, and you're rolling. So I don't know. I think it's worth doing. It's not what I'm going to do for every novel I write. There's definitely something to sitting down and writing. There's certain things that I definitely wouldn't write this way. I wouldn't write a fantasy or a science fiction or something that you need to remember a lot of names or places or stuff like that, because it's just really hard. But with this novel, it was kind of a YA, coming of age. I used a lot of settings that I was familiar with, and it was very, very fun to do. It was really enjoyable, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So as a nice plug, you should, if you've watched this video for this long, check it out, read the book. I would love that, and let me know what you think. Otherwise, keep in touch. I'm hoping to do a lot more writing oriented content along with the other stuff that stuff I haven't done in a while, but stuff I'll start doing again here soon. So try this. Let me know how it works. If you have any questions, I'd be really happy to help guide you if this is something that you're willing to try. And yeah, let me know how it goes.